What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today with a brand new Harpie deck profile for the month of December. Now, if my voice sounds a little different, it's because I'm actually using a new mic and headset to talk to you guys through. Also, this will probably be one of the few last deck profiles with Harpies before the newer stuff comes into TCG, which is literally only a couple of weeks away. And with the newer stuff coming out, I at least want to do one physical and then I'll do one digital. But the digital will have, of course, Perfumer, Oracle, and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get Harpie Conductor working, or at least on to the thing. I have to get all that set up. So, without further ado, I'll at least give you one of the last few IRLs before the newer stuff kicks in. So the ban list did absolutely nothing to Harpies. We didn't get Duster. We don't use Firewall Dragon. So we dodged the bullet. Alright, so for the main deck, and this will actually start reflecting on what I'm running digitally because of all the new stuff. So I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Chandler. I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Harpist, 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1, 2 copies of Harpie Queen, 2 copies of Harpie Dancer, 2 copy, no, I'm sorry, not 2 copies, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, and 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Dragon. So that is pretty much the lineup there for all the monsters. For the spells, I'm running 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Elegant Egotist, 2 copies of Quillpin of Guldos, 2 copies of Magic Planner, 1 Raigeki, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Monster Reborn. And that is the spells. On to the traps. I'm running 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 3 copies of Hysteric Party, 3 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance, and 1 copy of Strike, Warning, and Judgment. For the extra deck, as soon as I can get to it. Alright, I'm running 3 copies of Great Fly, 1 copy of Fighter Daruma Doll, 1 copy of Decode Talker, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy, oh, wait, move this up, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 1 copy of Castell, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy, a copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, Big Eye, Babuska, and Galaxy Eyes Tomahawk. So that is pretty much it for the deck, the whole entire deck itself, the main and the extra. So let's go over things. So like I said, a lot of the cards are going to start reflecting the newer builds that are being based on what I'm running on the in the digital version. So with the 3 copies of Harpie Chandler, she's going to be your main engine monster. She's going to summon your Harpies from the deck. She's going to be your summoner monk, pretty much. When you control a dragon type monster, her level changes from 4 to 7. So do note that works well with Perfumer and Oracle. Oracle can be special summoned off of the effect. And Perfumer can search for cards. Search for 2 cards instead of 1. Harpie's Feather Roosting will allow you to draw 2 instead of the 1 of, and you'll have a lot more range with her as time goes on. Harpie Harpist is pretty much one of the monsters you want to discard for Harpie Chandler's effect. She, when activated, can return 1 winged beast you control and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls back to hand. In addition, during the end phase in which this card is sent to the graveyard, while she's in the graveyard, you can search your deck for a level 4 winged beast monster with 15 or less attack, Perfumer, Oracle, Dancer, Chandler, and variations of Harpie Lady 1 that are not Cyber Harpie can be searched off of this if you're playing her in Harpie Lady. Of course, there's a bigger range with the other winged beast, but the whole additional thing is that she is your Scarm. She's going to help you search instant out your deck. She's additional beater, and she really just plays in well with a lot of the other Harpies. Harpie Lady 1 I'm pretty much just choosing this over Cyber Harpy because I want the attack boost. I don't need any more additional beaters than the deck already can provide. And then it's just pretty much your biggest Ellie and Egotist targets till we start running Harpy Lady Sisters in the deck because of the fact that they're also an Egotist target, one of the biggest Egotist targets that you can get. So with Harpy Lady 1, you just want to give the attack power as much as possible. So I'm running only 2 Queen. Normally I would run 3, but because Perfumer and Oracle can go get Hunting Ground, that's why I reduced it from my normal 3 to 2. And plus, I'll be fitting in a lot of the other Harpy ladies as well when it comes to that. But Queen is still your 19 beater. She's your field spell searcher, and she's still out around one of your heaviest attackers. Harpy Dancer, she's going to see a lot more changes as well because Harpy Dancer is kind of going to not be much prevalent except for the Master Back Row removal with her effect by returning her to hand to give you additional normal summon of a wind monster. In most cases, you're going to pop back row with her in Hunting Ground. She can be searched by she can summon by Chandler. She's searched by Harpist. She still works, of course, with a lot of your other Harpy cards. It's just that there's only one Divine with a Mist Valley, so most points, if you're spamming with Harpy Dancer, it's just to get stuff off the field to put new stuff onto the board. Even with a lot of the benefits of her low attack and defense to get over stuff, Dancer just seems to have fallen herself out of the fray. And with the release of Oracle and Perfumer, she's really not going to be much into the fray, unfortunately. So, let's talk about the dragons. Harpy's Pet Dragon is pretty much just here till for now. It makes Chandler 7, your rank 7 plays. That's pretty much about it. I mean, with Swift Mirror Seduction, Elegant Harpy Lady, at least you'll get some more usage out of Dragon and at least some more summons. But for the most part, Dragon is just here to be the rank 7 monster. Harpy's Pet Baby Dragon, although it is a little too early to add this card in, the benefits of this is that it will be a control variant of level modulation, especially with Harpy Chandler, because you can get a lot of your other Harpy cards from your deck with Chandler. This is one of the big ones that you want, especially considering the fact with Perfumer and Oracle, it'll help change her level to 7 if you don't want to run Harpy Lady Sisters, which is prevalently one of the biggest targets because a lot of the cards will say Harpy Lady Sisters in its text, and Perfumer and Oracle are going to either retrieve those cards from the graveyard or search for them in the deck. Now, the bright side to it is that Dragon has its additional effects when on the board due to the number of other RB monsters you control, except for a copy of itself. So, you do have a lot of range that will be coming once a lot of the newer Harpy cards do come out. I may be running Baby Dragon a little earlier than expected, but like I said, this deck is starting to mold itself into the next variation. Now, with that said and done, let's move on to the spells. I think for the most part, the only big ones people are going to question are the 2 big ones that pretty much just came through. So, Hysteric Sign is pretty much still going to be your ace card. You're going to get a lot of your Harpy stuff from this. You're going to get your Elegant Egotist from this. And with Conductor's Effect, the bouncing back and forth with Oracle and Perfumer, you're going to get a lot of range out of this card than you've ever had before. On the side of that, let's talk about Harpy's Hunting Ground. Reducing it to 2 is only because of the fact that you have a ton of stuff to support it. Not only retrieving it from the graveyard, but putting it into your hand and then activating it. You have Perfumer. You have Perfumer to search for it. Oracle to retrieve it. You have Harpy Queen to search for it. You have Hysteric Sign to search for it. So Harpies have that range within 4 monsters. Not to mention, you have a lot of range in terms of retrieval because of Oracle's effect to put it back in hand. You have a lot of power. You get a little bit of power boost from this card, but the overall thing is that when your Harpy Lady or Sisters is normal special summon, you're popping back row with this card's effect. Even if you have to pop it yourself. Like I said, Oracle will retrieve it. Not to mention with Conductor, you're going to get more use out of it there because she's also Harpy Lady. Now, Elegant Egotist as a one-of. We have 3 sign, we have Perfumer, we'll have Oracle. We'll just have a lot more range with this card. And getting it back. I don't see this card being dropped because you do need it to summon Harpie Sisters, which is the only thing a lot of people, including myself, was upset with, that we didn't get a retrain of Harpie Lady Sisters to even fit with Elegant Egotist. But the fact that we still have a lot of these newer cards to work around it does help in that same sense. So that's why I did not drop out Elegant Egotist. Now, I think the next 2 cards are cards people are going to start asking questions about. So let's just get it out the way. Quillpin of Guldos. With Quillpin, it's just a little pot of avarice. We don't have Harpie's Feather Roosting yet. And plus, this thing returns a card on the field back to the owner's hand. So you get a Compulse and a bit of a pot of avarice for wind attribute monsters. Not to mention, this help getting stuff like Oracle, Harpie, because this isn't in the main build when the new stuff comes out. This is something that I've wanted to put back in for a minute and I was testing out. And it's pretty much just to retrieve Harpie Chandler, to put your Harpist back into your deck, to put your dead dragon, or your used up dragon in case you want to go for more plays. You can also get your extra deck monsters. You can get back Castells and Chidoris and Tomahawks and stuff like that. Magic Planner is pretty much here for... Actually, let me move this over. Because Magic Planner is here for the continuous spells. I mean, continuous traps, just to get rid of the dead ones, and then you can draw 2 cards off of it. In combination with anti-spell, once you pretty much lock your opponent out, you can easily just flip this, get rid of the anti-spell, draw off of it, and then go into more cards. A lot of people were actually using Magic Planners earlier on with a lot of the Harpie stuff, because you can just set a whole bunch of continuous traps, play this on those continuous traps when it's your turn to get rid of them, and draw 2 into cards that you would need from your deck, or at least thin out your deck so that you can get into a lot of your other pieces. Raigeki Dark Hole are pretty much your monster removal, and Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn. Alright, so that is the spells. Now on to the traps. I think it's only safe and sufficient that we do say that Hysteric Party and Harpie's Featherstorm are keepsakes in Harpies. Not to mention that Harpie Conductor, our first Link monster, is summonable by Hysteric Party. So you get range out of that to get into more Links. Which I think a lot of people are going to play more Link monsters, even with the Conductor being in the extra deck. You have Harpie's Featherstorm to protect a lot of your Harpies from being affected by other card effects, especially monster stuff like hand traps, graveyard effects, crazy things that are hitting the board and trying to do stuff. You have the effects of Featherstorm to protect you. The only downside, of course, is there's no Feather Duster. So hopefully when the list changed in June, we'll get Feather Duster, fingers crossed. If not, heck, we still got a very powerful trap card that we can search for off of Hysteric Sign. We have a lot of range with it with all the Harpies in the deck. And we have Hysteric Party, one of our biggest push play cards in the game. What archetype do you know that has a card that literally summons every monster from the graveyard to the field as possible, and you can make Link plays, Exceed plays, and just go bananas with this card? So that is Hysteric Party and Harpie's Featherstorm. Actually, I have to leave these up here because I just remember I'm not finished with the traps. Let's talk about Anti-Spell. In the history of Harpies in Anti-Spell, Anti-Spell Fragrance is one of the cards that Harpies love. Why? Because Harpie players love combining this with Harpie's Hunting Ground, forcing your opponent to set all their spell cards, making them completely useless because you're going to be popping them away. Now, we have Harpie Conductor, who can send spells and traps away to help protect our Harpie cards. You can easily just dump an anti-spell to save yourself, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, because I think she says Harpie cards. So, either way, you still have a lot of range with this. She's popping stuff, or she's getting rid of stuff. You have anti-spell, Harpie's Hunting Ground in combination. You have protection with Feather Storm. You can throw in a couple of other traps to really start protecting a lot of your stuff. Because Literally, this is just to slow down a lot of heavy spell decks. And even if decks that don't run spells, you can easily side it out and put in other stuff like Loser Turns and other Floodgate trap cards. But this is pretty much one of the OG cards Harpies use when it comes to a big Floodgate. And I wanted to be fancy and just add one copy of all the counter traps that are solemn. um, and also just give it a bit of range. So that is it for the main deck. On to the extra. The extra deck, for the most part, because I don't have Barrel Sword Dragon, which is a great monster, but that price tag for a great monster. Um, so yeah, Great Fly, signature wind monster, signature setup card for wind. Still going to be reliable when we get Conductor, because he can even retrieve Conductor. Um, straight power bonus for wind, recovery for wind, and the most generic pointers, bottom left, bottom right. As much as this card has not seen play since its release, it's still relatively a situational card that can become very situationally used. Fighter the Rumadal can retrieve banished winged beast monsters, beast or beast warriors. Takes winged beast and beast warriors to summon, which Harpies are winged beasts. So you still get a lot of benefits from it, except for the fact that it's a beast warrior and it's fire. Other than that, I mean, the Rumadal has a ton of stability, getting 100 attack for every winged beast, and beast warrior on the board. And he can, when he takes stuff out, bam, you can go get another card. So you can take out tokens and retrieve your Harpies. And its other effect to destroy a card you control and your opponent controls is great too, because you can destroy Hysteric Sign and get its abilities going there. Decode Talker, as much as a lot of people don't like to talk about Decode Talker, or say how good Decode Talker is for those who really don't want to go into the big Link 4 plays, Decode Talker is still a good option. The only downside to Decode Talker is that he doesn't take tokens, but Decode Talker is still a relatively good monster in terms of just a generic Link 3. Now on to the exceed monsters in the deck. I think, like I tell people, this is pretty much the big toolbox when it comes to a Harpie deck, is the ton of wind monsters it can produce, especially those rank 4s. With the exception of Ice Beast not being a rank 4 wind monster, she is a winged beast. And for the most part, you kind of see a lot of these guys still stapled in Harpies. Harpies Pet Phantasmal, Harpie, yeah, Harpie, I was about to call it Harpies Castel. But no, Castel, Tornado Dragon, Lightning Chidori, Ice Beast, and Phantasmal. If you don't see one, you're seeing the other. They all have great range when it comes to Harpies. The Harpies have the ability to not only summon these monsters, but to utilize each of their effects as possible. I'm glad I did to get my hands on a Tornado Dragon, a Castel when I did. Phantasmal is still one of Harpie's biggest aces. Even with Conductor, I mean, you can make a full field of a Conductor, a Phantasmal. She's going to protect Phantasmal. Phantasmal is going to protect her. Ice Be Zero Fine, the shutdown card herself, the Ice Queen. Chidori, one of Harpie's biggest staples, and one of my favorite cards when it comes to Harpies. Getting rid of stuff, bam. Blowing stuff away. Tornado Dragon, Castel, similar situation. And really good on the first turn if you can make a Tornado Dragon, because if you set a sign or set a split mirrors, you're pretty much set and done and can get a lot of more range out of it as well. It is a worm, it is not a dragon, which is not oxymoron to its name, but hey, what can we do? It is Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff like that happens. Castel is pretty much here. I mean, Cowboy is here for the burn, especially because of time events and stuff like that. Also, that's why Red Ice Flare is here. Red Ice Flare you do get a lot more range of, but remember, you need Harpie's Pet in order to summon it, which you're kind of going to need for a lot of the rank 7s when it comes to Harpies. Big Eye, a very big staple to snatch your opponent's monsters. You can even put in Mecha Phantom Draco Sack if you have the option. Babushka is just a first turn stall out if you can't get to a lot of your bigger pieces. And when it comes to Link plays, of course, Tomahawk your way into victory. So that is pretty much it for this deck profile, because So it's not too fancy, it's not too big, but I wanted it to be as relatively based as possible. And I do know a lot of the choices can make people cringe, but they've worked out well for me so far. Even if ratio and proportion may not work well for a lot of pieces that it has, it's still going to work out well till we get the newer Harpie cards. And once the newer stuff is in, I'll swap stuff out and then go from there. So do expect a digital version of the Harpie deck as soon as possible. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Alright, other than that, this is HJ. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.